That's it. We'll start. Couple seconds. Members present, we have a quorum, the meeting is called to order. Let's do the minutes first. The minutes from the May 24 meeting, is there a motion to approve?
Oh,
Second.
second.
All those in favor of approving?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
No, you're right.
Minutes from the October 10 meeting. Any comments, questions? Motion to approve?
Motion to
Second.
approve with the, as updated by John.
This has my update, my edits in.
Correct. Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye. Abstain.
Opposed? The meeting minutes for October 10 are approved. October 17 minutes.
That's the agenda.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
We're gonna approve them, but. So far, they're right on.
Pretty good. So there are only two?
Yeah.
I have two versions of it. All right. So. Item number 4. Item number 5. School department presentations.
Everybody. We've tiered up our requests in 3 different tiers. So this particular request will be more on the tier 1 than tier 2 and 3. Tier 2 and 3 would be more future things you're looking for. So we can go over just tier 1 if you'd like, just hear what we'd like to go for this particular time, or we could go over everything. It's up to you guys.
Just the items that are going to be on the
This year's.
at this meeting. Yeah,
Okay.
just this year.
Okay, so we'll go tier 1 then. All right, so our most important item is HVAC at VHS. Bellingham High School, the VAV boxes are failing. Mentioned there this morning. There are a couple of VAV boxes that are not functioning the way they need to function, and we don't have any replacements for them. The dinosaurs and they don't make them anymore. So we need to upgrade the VAV boxes at the high school. Essentially what a VAV box does is controls airflow. It controls the airflow to each of the rooms.
What does VAB stand for?
Okay, so variable airflow volume is what it's.
Airflow, all right.
Yeah, so it controls that airflow and the volume of airflow that goes to each of the rooms. We have 5 boilers down there that can take control of the whole entire school, but the VAV boxes are individual. So each classroom has a thermostat in it, and these VAV boxes open and close based on the amount of volume of air they want in the classroom. So if it's set at 80, the air continues to come. If it's set at 62, then the air will shut off at a certain point in time. And as that thermostat takes it, it will shut off. So what's happening now is they're failing. We have no replacements for them. So we need to replace.
So does this HVAC system cover the entire building?
Right.
The whole building, not just a section? Okay.
The whole building. Yeah.
On page 3. There's a whole bunch of items here. It says they're all excluded. What does that mean?
It's something that is already there. It's already in place. So
When I saw that, I saw the $90,000. I looked at this.
Yeah.
It says phase 1 and phase 2. Is there a phase 3?
no, this is the phase 1 and phase 2 is complete.
Is there another vendor that has to complete the installation, or is this the whole thing beginning to end?
It's a one source item. It's a Honeywell item. It's a proprietary thing. So it's something that they're going to need to replace.
So it's 90,000, the whole thing, it's done.
That's the way they presented it in 2 phases.
Okay.
So we'd like to get both phases done at once.
Whose signatures had it on?
Me.
Yours? Okay. urgent, does that mean the current system is not working?
Current system's failing. So it's parts of it are working, but as they fail, they will not work. So like I said, there were two this morning that weren't working correctly. And we're in that part of the time of year where we're gonna need that heat to flow through those classrooms.
Okay, and this work will be done right away.
As soon as we have the ability to get the cash flow, yes,
Funding source,
funding, yeah. I'm not sure what the funding source
is
is.
it free cash?
Free cash.
Free cash.
Anybody have any additional comments, questions?
Okay, second, I'm sorry.
We'll vote each one. Motion to recommend Bellingham High School upgrade, $90,400 from free cash.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recommended 6-0.
Second one will be the fob system at both elementary schools, the feature installed. And here the fob system is to be able to control the flow of people coming in and out of the building. We know who's coming in, we know who's coming out, we can control the times they come in and come out, we can shut them off during summers, vacations, or whatever. So we have that safety and security of the building. Every other school has the fob system now. With the elementary is the only two that don't have it. We're looking at the access 5 doors at Starbrook and 4 doors at the future elementary.
Didn't we just replace all the keys and locks last year or the year before, or is this completely different?
That's completely different. Yeah, we have a new key system or new key to get in and out of the building at the Petro. And we have a new key, it's probably 3 years old now at middle school.
Is this replacing the one?
No, this is not.
Not.
This is an electronic device that you swipe it and it opens and closes the doors.
Different doors.
There'll only be a set of 5 sets of doors at Starbrook and 4 sets of doors at so main entry.
Main entry.
Main entry lanes, correct.
Okay, so the keys were replaced were on interior doors or something else?
Keys were replaced for exterior doors at the Petro. And eventually the interior doors will be replaced also. Keys were replaced at the middle school. The middle school also has a fob system. It's eventually we want to get a key, a master key for all the buildings, but that's a long ways away. The keys themselves will get you in and out anytime, even if we have any sort of electrical failure, power out or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, but the system itself, you know, these keys will only be given out to certain individuals. The fobs are given out to every single teacher. And at the beginning of the year, they're collected at the end of school year, and they can be shut off. Say we fire somebody, somebody's shouldn't be able to use the keys. Mr. Garofano can just shut them off and access altogether.
So each fob can be turned off individually at any point.
Correct. Right, and they can be set at 12 to 12 or 1 to 5 or whatever that it could be set at. For those people to be able to get in and out.
Teachers don't, or staff don't have access to master keys that would open up all the doors. They only have access to their classroom. So one of the benefits of the fob system is for when they go out for recess, they can fob to get back into the building from any of those side access doors and not have to have a key.
Mostly I hear the rekeying that we have the new keys up because there have been so many keys given out throughout the years. We wanted to kind of limit the amount of people that were getting in and out of the building.
We get competitive bids on this kind of work?
We can get competitive bids on this. Absolutely. This is Oakers on the Mass State bid list. So it's a company that, you know,
Done a lot of work.
there's a lot of work to do.
This says, it says no on state bid lists. We're purchasing from the state bid list.
Oakers is a part of the state bid list, correct?
So the pricing is on the state bid list for this item.
Right.
The funding is free cash, 11,470 plus capital investment trust, $100,000.
Yeah, can I explain that for a sec? Hang on a second. for the VAV. Did you just say 100,000? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, okay. So we have a capital investment trust fund that has a little over $700,000 in that trust fund. But we have for years been carrying $100,000 of that trust fund, which is money that the town received a long time ago from a person named Tim Jones. And that the proceeds that we received from Tim Jones were specifically restricted to be used for capital items for the school department. And so I am proposing that we utilize those funds for this particular item.
So when I saw the funding source, I don't remember ever hearing the term capital investment trust.
We definitely have a capital investment trust.
Have we talked about it before in the finance committee?
Yeah, oh, sure. Yeah, we've used it before. It is a fund that we have periodically contributed to when we've replenished our reserves at town meeting. My expectation over the last couple of years is that we had been replenishing that fund with free cash and saving up for some fire apparatus. And so when I looked at the fund to determine what we had available to apply to the critical need that we have for fire apparatus, I realized that the $100,000 of that fund could not be used for the fire engine because of the restriction that was placed on those proceeds. And those proceeds are required to only be utilized for school department related items.
Any other comments or questions on this item?
Are the fobs part of the ID for the teachers?
Yes.
Is it like the ID card and that's also the fob, correct?
Correct.
Motion to recommend the key fob system for Stallbrook and Petro as presented, $100,000 from the Capital Investment Trust Fund, $11,470 from free cash. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Comments, questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Recommended 6.
Third item, be grounding equipment. We have taken over the Blackstone Seat properties from the park department. So, we have from the fire department all the way up to Blackstone Street to take care of now, mow and trim and just make the properties look better. So we're looking at purchasing 2 Ventrac tractors along with 2 8-foot mower decks for the front of these, and looking at a ball field groomer attachment for the mowers also. So we had Toro from Connecticut come up and show us these machines, good machines. Since speaking to capital improvement, we've talked to the Parks Department. I try to get an idea of what they use for manpower on these fields. And I was told they use 3 to 4 people during the spring and fall to take care of that area that we're taking care of now. And I said, how long does it take you with those 3 or 4 people? And they said it takes 4 full days, and the 5th day we're trimming and taking care of some things that we haven't gotten to yet. He said during the summertime, it takes them 5 to 6 people to do the same exact thing, because there's obviously more growth. It takes a little bit more time to get this stuff done. So after getting that information, I think these would be 2 pieces of equipment that would be really beneficial to the 2 people that I have doing all that work, as compared to the 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Right now, Parks Department has given us what they didn't want, which is a lot of things that need to be fixed. And we do have some equipment that's working and helping us do what we need to do up there for the meantime. Right now we're in fall, so it's kind of helping us. The growth period isn't as bad as it was during the summertime, where we couldn't keep up with it at all. So we get a lot of complaints during the summertime about how the properties looked and how things were going and how everything was looking in shambles. And we're starting to get some compliments as the fall comes and that we can try to kind of catch up to it. And it's growing nearly as fast as it was. So.
So this page. The capital request has 99,999. But this has 49,999 for the current year. So 50,000 for next year.
Can I speak to that?
Yep.
So the reason that the sheet in front of you shows that, John, is the request from the school department initially is $99,999. As you know, these items go before the Capital Improvements Committee first, and the Capital Improvements Committee recommended pursuing only one of the two mowers at this time. Therefore, on that sheet, I split it into two amounts, just simply reflecting the Capital Improvements Committee recommendation. But the request is before the Finance Committee for two mowers. And so we're looking at whether you support following along with the Capital Planning Committee for one mower at this time and potentially a second one in the future, or whether the Finance Committee wants to support the purchase and funding of two mowers at this time.
I can speak for the capital committee. Our problem is this is a new system. The weight distribution on it, these are we're concerned about it. There's all weights on the front, you gotta put additional weight in the back so it can actually work.
Oh,
So what we wanna do
yeah, but
is we wanna see if the first, we don't have a problem with two, but let's get one. Let's make sure there's no bugs in it. Because, you can get a gang mower made by Toro, that it can mow 16 feet wide if you want. So let's get one, make sure the system is up to stuff and does what they say it's gonna do. And then we can always come
This
back.
has been around for 25 years and it is as stated, a bulletproof system, but I understand what capital improvement was thinking and I appreciate it completely, but after speaking with Parks and them telling me what they use for manpower to keep those fields the way they're supposed to be kept. That's why we're going for the two, trying to go for the two again.
I'm confused as to why we think this equipment might not work. Is it
We don't,
specially designed for us?
we don't think that.
No, all the high-end universities, all the academies are going towards this Ventrac. They're all buying it, they love it, and they're all, everybody I've spoken to say it's completely bulletproof, no problems with it whatsoever, as long as you maintain it and continue to maintain it, you'll have no problem with it. The tractor itself, they say, will last you a lifetime. The parts that come with it, like when you buy the 8-foot deck mower, they said that may need to be replaced in 15 years, but the tractor itself is bulletproof. So it's been around.
What was your concern that it might not work?
We wanna see it work because we don't have a proposal from Kubota, we don't have a proposal from Toro. They're the ones that maintain golf courses, which has quadruple the acreage that we have down at the three fields. But we want to make sure that this system works the way it's presented. If it does, we don't have a problem getting a second one next year or in the spring. But let's make sure we're not throwing money away. You know what I mean? Because if he comes back next year and say, well, this keeps breaking down, it doesn't work. We're gonna need a different type. That's all.
So what kind of mower is it? What's the name brand?
This is a Ventrac, and the people that I spoke to about the Ventrac was originally the Toro dealer. And the Toro dealer was giving me a price for a 12-foot mower, and that 12-foot mower was $80-something thousand. And I spoke to Kubota. I don't have a price in front of you, but their mower equivalent to this was twice as much as this. This is a all steel machine. The only thing on it that's plastic is the seat and the steering wheel. It's something that, like I said, yeah, it's been told to me as a bulletproof machine. And it doesn't come with it has like 30-something different attachments you can put on it Obviously, they cost money if you want to buy them, but there's a lot of things you can do with it. If you want to in the future.
I'm not familiar with the name Ventrac, but it says Ventrac tractor. KN 4520 and Kubota. Is a Ventrac made by Kubota?
Kubota would be the engine. The engine, it's a Kubota engine.
Kubota is the engine.
In it, yeah. They have 3 different engines that it comes with. They suggest the Kubota. So that's why that's on there.
So are there towns near us that use the same Ventrac?
I didn't reach out to towns. I did. Needham just bought. Needham just bought some? Three.
Who bought them?
Needham.
Who?
Needham.
So I wouldn't know how to vote on the 99,999 request because it says 49,999. I'm assuming current year free cash and the 50,000 for next year. Well, we have to vote the cash source, the funding source.
So the funding source, John, if the committee chose to support the two, whether the committee chooses to support one or two, the funding source would be free cash.
All right. We'll do it this way. Is there a motion to recommend purchase of both for $99,999 from free cash as presented? Is there a motion?
Recommend that motion to purchase 1 unit. Vote on that, and if it votes down, then we're at 2.
The request that's being presented is for two. So I believe that you should be making a motion that reflects the request in front of you.
I go back to my original. Is there a motion to recommend the $99,999 for both machines from free cash? Okay, there's no motion, so we can't move forward. Is there a motion to recommend the purchase of one machine for $49,999 from free cash?
So moved.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Motion to recommend? I'm sorry, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 140, it's 1 unit, 29,999 free cash, recommended finance committee.
And the last thing would be the athletic bus. We need additional funding, $31,000. Quote came back higher than anticipated for the athletic bus.
You all approved the athletic bus, the second athletic bus for the high school last year, for I think it was 65,000. When we went out to purchase,
I actually, I have a hard time hearing, so I
Oh, sorry.
can't hear what you're just saying.
yep, so last year you approved a second athletic bus for the high school. I believe it was $65,000. When we went out to purchase, the quotes came back at 90,000. So with a 9-month lead time for the bus, so the prices of the buses have went up dramatically. So we're coming back for an additional 31,000 to purchase the athletic bus.
This is for the 2024 Microbird 14 passenger,
Correct, 14 passenger.
31,998 free cash.
Correct.
And this will be the second.
It'll be the second athletic bus. So our payback period was 3 years, now it'll be 4. So I think that athletic.
So this will be the second bus the school department has that it owns to transport.
Athletes for games. And to be used for other things for the school, so field trips during the day, there's a lot of different uses that we can utilize it for.
Comments? Questions?
The question I have is, this price is set now.
Yes,
You give me additional money, but it's not gonna come back next year. So they raised it another $10,000.
so another 30,000
Right?
Yeah.
there a motion to recommend $31,998 from free cash for the 2024 microbird 14 passenger as proposed?
So,
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recommended 6-0.
I just have one question, Mary. The desk replacement, do they need to vote on the desk replacement?
They do not, but what we should explain is the conversation that we had before. So a couple years ago, the school department brought forward a request for desk replacement at the high school. And what they had proposed at the time is that they would do it over a 5-year period, purchasing 20% of the desks each year for a period of 5 years. What we did is we went back and took a look at what we had actually authorized. And so the committees, all three of the committees, the Capital Improvements Committee, the Select Board, and the Finance Committee had all approved the full amount, I should say, supported the 5-year program. The reason it's on the capital plan in front of you and it does not require an additional vote is to simply have make sure that it's included in our funding sources. So the funding source for this year's allocation is free cash, but a separate vote is not needed by this committee. However, when we went back and took a look at the number of orders that we have placed for this and the number of authorizations that we have funded for this, this one in front of us would be the 4th out of 5 purchases to fulfill that obligation. So what that means is on next year's capital schedule, we will see the last of that 5-year program being funded on the capital schedule. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So do we have to, does the finance committee have to vote that item?
No, you already did when we voted the initial item a couple of years ago.
Yeah, okay. And if I can just say one last thing, I just want to introduce our new finance director, Erica Montero. She's replacing Joanne Rebello, who
Nice.
resigned this summer. So Erica's just came on board about a month and a half ago. So 2 months ago.
welcome.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Good night.
And next item, town meeting warrant articles. Did I just pay me for that $35,000 item?
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Is there something in the book for the $35,000 item for the desks?
Probably not.
Okay.
No, not in this particular year's book. I mean, if you want the original information, I'd be happy to forward it back out to the committee.
Town warrant articles?
I think we're gonna be still in the, I mean, I think we can back for articles, warrant articles.
All right, Mary.
Hi.
Hi, let's do this.
Okay, do you want me to start with 1 through 5 briefly?
Yes,
Okay, so Articles 1 through 5 are amending the current year's operating budget. I anticipate that for your next meeting, we will be able to talk about those. We had been waiting for the state to certify our new growth numbers that our assessor had submitted in the past week to 10 days. The state did in fact certify our new growth over the last couple of days, so we know what that looks like. So now I have those numbers to be able to utilize for amend Article 1. Amend Articles 2, 3, and 4 are the enterprise funds. And what you're going to see is that we do need to move those articles in order to reflect a collective bargaining agreement with the DPW that has recently been ratified or has been completed. Actually, I don't know if the select board has voted on it yet, Beth, but
No, it's being voted on by the union right now, well, this week.
okay. So we anticipate that we will have both the contract ratified by the unions as well as adopted by the select board for the fall town meeting, which means that we will need to fund the cost of that collective bargaining agreement, and it applies to our enterprise funds. So until this is finalized, the numbers, the calculations have not been released yet. So that we anticipate that that should be for your next week's meeting. We'll take up Articles 1 through 5 at that time. Then for Articles 6 and 7, so now that you guys still have to meet with police and fire, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Scheduled for
Next
next
week.
Wednesday.
So what we'll do is I'll have a draft of Articles 6 and 7 with placeholders for police and fire, so we can see what they're going to look like. And then pending the results of your votes from that meeting, we can take a final vote on 6 and 7. And then let me see what's after that. Okay, Beth, you're up for 8, 9, and 10 and 11.
Sure, we'll go for that.
Okay,
The town charter revisions, we all have heard about the town charter revisions that will be brought up for vote, and it's been published on the website. It's been discussed in public meeting. October 30th, we will have a public meeting here. Can you hear me, John? Okay, we'll have a public meeting here to go over everything with the charter that it has to discuss and recommended. So we're hoping that we will have a good response to it.
About a few weeks ago, I read the town charter amendments as it's posted on the town website. Has that changed, or is what is on the website the final revision?
I believe it's the final revisions. We haven't met for a while, but I will double check,
It's
but
not
it's
changing
supposed to be.
every week or every 2
No,
weeks. That's okay.
It was actually wasn't changed much. The last change that we did was with the Board of Health committee to 5 members instead of 3. Everything else had stayed pretty much the same.
Stayed the same since the
Then the,
town meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it was voted. Okay, so the only change then is the number of committee members.
right,
Okay, okay.
the biggest change that they're looking at is obviously accommodating if something happens to the town administrator, like what happened. So that was an issue, plus the education and the residential being a resident. So those,
All related to the town administrator's position.
yes,
All the other changes within there are small.
the gender neutral,
Yeah.
some we had to change because mass general law,
Yeah.
so, you know, those things, but yeah.
Outside of our control is mass general law.
Yeah.
And gender is kind of,
Yeah, gender is, yeah, it's the right thing to do. So, you know, there are changes that we're putting in. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, procedurally, where are we with that? In other words, do we have to approve it? Has the selectmen approved it again, or the approval they made last year carry on?
They brought it before the town, the charter committee. They'll bring it before the public. And then I'm not sure if they're going to go before the select board or not. I don't think this doesn't need to be voted on by FinCom since there's no money, right?
that's right.
so it
It's
does need to,
already, since it's presented by other public hearings, and there's no funding, we can't vote on that.
Okay, that's what I thought. It's been a while since
I
I've been
went,
on
I went
FinCom.
back and reread the language. The way I read it, we don't vote on it.
Okay, so where we are is it's ready to be presented before the town and town meeting.
Thank you.
That Mary addressed the ASME labor contract. We are in the final stages of it, I hope. And the proposal was put out and we hope to have a vote this week. I did tell them that we need to have in because if we're going to fund it, it needs to be in by a certain date.
So our Article 9 is just, a contract with the employees.
It's not the enterprise
Right,
ones.
but it's just a contractual arrangement with the employees, so
Yes,
it's not a,
it's their COLA and everything.
it's not a contentious item.
No.
Okay.
It would be contentious before it got to that point because it would be voted down by the union.
Right, but
So-
that's there.
Exactly. So if it goes to in front of the town meeting, I don't expect it to be contentious,
Yeah.
but we never know.
Okay.
The acceptance of, Gary, did you say something?
No, you know what, Beth? Can you call me tomorrow to talk about that? Because I'm just sitting here wondering, we should run that up the flagpole with town council. Because the ratification or the approval of the contract is in Article 9. And the funding of it would be in 2 through 5. So I just want to go over the sequence with town council. So
We have to move,
Yeah, so-
move the order.
Let me know what they say. If the town council says we should vote Article 9, even if the funding is in 1 through 5, we'll vote it.
Okay,
We'll do what the town council says.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Article 10 might not be finance committee either.
It probably isn't, but if you would like me to explain it to you?
Yep.
Okay, so 10 and 11 are actually tied together. Fire and police, the public safety, when they get injured on the job, they are paid under the 111F, which is paying them their full salary. Unlike if I get hurt, I go through workers' comp and I get 60% from the insurance and workers' comp and 40% I have to supplement from my own sick time or whatever. So with the public safety, 111F covers the police and the fire, that they get their full salary and there's no hit to their vacation time and there's no taxes. What we're looking to do, the fire chief has proposed that in light of the trouble that we're having, and it's not just us, it's everyone, is hiring firefighter paramedics. What he'd like to do is explore the program of having paramedics only can also be hired by the fire department. So he would focus on, we'd have firefighters, paramedics, and then we would have just paramedics. And one of his line of thoughts is the fact that there are so many medical calls now. If you look at any of the reports, you'll see that the medicals are huge. We need to get people in there so that we can man the ambulances. We need the firefighters, of course, firefighter paramedics, because we need the firefighters. But right now, we can't hire enough staff to cover even the medicals. So this will open it up so that the paramedics would be able to be covered under 111F. 111M and just like 111F. So they wouldn't have to use their sick time, personal time. So this is a big plus to get people to come to Bellingham to work for us and to have the skills that we're looking for. The other plus of it is we get someone in who's a paramedic and they work for us a little bit and they decide, well, maybe I do want to go to fire academy. We've already vetted them out and say, okay, well, that would be great. We think you would be good and we'll pay to send you to academy. Or we'll say, oh, that's not going to be a good fit. We don't think that will work. So we're actually getting to try out the employees as opposed to now, we have to send them for the physicals. Then we send them to academy. Then if they fail the academy, then we lost that money. So this is a way to be able to kind of do a trial run. So this is what they would like to do.
Do other towns do this already?
This is a very new, this just starting. And once the chief started talking about it, he's been receiving a lot of calls from town saying, what are you doing with this? Because they're running into the same problem. They can't get firefighter paramedics. So that's the problem.
Okay, so this is new.
It's relatively new, yes.
So we're not a follower.
There's a few towns out there that do it, very
What?
few,
There are.
very few.
Boston does it. They have their private, their EMS services outside the fire and police.
I know Boston is kind of.
Yeah, I know.
Hard to
But
compare it
basically,
to
that-
Yeah, I mean, there's,
facility.
and I think there's one or two others, because that's how he found out about it. But they're starting now to say, this is the way to go. If we're going to cover all these medicals, then this is what we have to do. We have to open it up so that we can get the skilled people, because we do have some that came through and come through as paramedics, and they're going to go for the academy. They're great paramedics. They are very good with it, but they can't pass the academy for whatever reason. You know, they just can't. So we lose out on the staff that could be a good paramedic.
Is there a state law that specifically allows the town to do this?
If we adopt the 111M and 111N, then we can hire,
Yes,
yes, then we can hire them and we can cover their benefits.
okay, so
Like
there's a
the
state law
111.
that says if we make this change,
Then we're,
we can, but it's driven by a state law,
yes,
okay?
yeah, and this is saying, the big plus to it is by adopting these two, we're able to pay them under the 111 law that says we'll pay for all of your time, you'll be paid without taxes and the injuries. So
Okay,
you've got the two different
chapter
classes.
41-111 is referred to the state law.
Yep, 111F, M, and a whole bunch of letters.
Okay,
The 111F stays in place. This is
Yes.
gonna be for paramedics
Exactly.
and any other public safety people that are police or fire. That would be,
No, not the DPW.
I didn't say DPW.
Okay,
Police and fire,
yes,
but let's say Board of Health. They're raising covered under this law.
I have not heard that they have, but it's a good question and I can look into it.
Because, they're working in a form of.
Oh, yeah.
Safety, so.
Absolutely. So yes, I will definitely look into that.
how many paramedic positions does the town have? Positions?
I think every firefighter is a
Yeah,
paramedic.
we're required right now that it has to be firefighter, paramedic. But the only ones we would have paramedic are who are waiting to go into academy, because they've been hired with the expectation they will be both.
Explain that, so all firefighters are paramedics?
Yes, but not all paramedics are firefighters, because they haven't gone to school yet. Because you can be just a paramedic,
So when the emergency vehicle goes out,
Mhm.
those are firefighters in there
firefighter, paramedics, yeah.
and paramedics?
They're together. One person, you would be a firefighter, paramedic if you work for our fire.
All right, so let me ask you a different, how many paramedics do we have that are not firefighters?
Only the ones that are going into academy, and I don't know how many that is right now.
Okay, so paramedic is like a stepping stone before
Yes.
you become a.
Yep,
firefighter.
Exactly, because it takes so long to go into academy, it can take up to 6 months to get in,
Okay,
so we bring them on.
I didn't realize that. I thought paramedic was a specific job where you started as a paramedic and you stayed a paramedic. I'm wrong. That's not the way it works.
No.
Okay. Okay,
And no, I don't think you have to vote on that either.
yeah, I don't. If it doesn't require funding, I don't. think we
Exactly.
have to.
Yeah.
11?
11 is the same thing as 111M, and they're just covering the two different categories.
Okay.
Article 12, Mary, you want that one?
So I was just trying to look and see if I could find the description on this. I know that this is a piece of property over on Beach Street. It is currently owned by a gentleman named Mr. Compton. We, at our last town meeting, had accepted a piece of land from Mr. Compton, which I believe was the little sliver of land over on Maple Street, where we're putting a veterans memorial. And so we brought that before last town meeting. My understanding is that this particular parcel, Mr. Compton had approached the town last year to donate both parcels, but for some reason, we only proceeded forward with one. This is a second parcel. It's currently in tax title, which is why we are bringing it forward to accept a deed in lieu of foreclosure, which means that we would take ownership of the land and waive the taxes on the outstanding taxes on this property. unfortunately in front of me have the description of the size of the property and what is owed, but if my recollection serves me, it is it is a vacant or unutilized, undevelopable piece of land, that has no value.
0.735 acres.
I'm sorry, what does that say?
So this is land, no building.
No building, it's just vacant, like you said, undeveloped. We can't develop it, correct, Mary?
Yes, that is correct.
Is it adjacent to the mill property or anywhere near there, or? You know, okay.
I don't know. Let me look.
Everything looks like it's accounted for until you get down to near the river, so.
Yeah. Well, Beach Street, Pearl has the garage and the mill where it was on Pearl, correct? So
So this land is right in that area.
in Beach Street is in that area, yes.
Yeah, and I don't,
Nothing for us to put on.
there's nothing in there for us, but
This is what, 4-33. Let me look to see if I can look this up real quick. That says map 4 parcel 33, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm just jumping into our tax title account right here.
so we don't have to vote, even though they're sacrificing the tax zone.
You do need to vote on this one.
Okay,
It's not the same, but we're waiting.
Okay, so I am looking at the account and let me tell you when it went into tax title. Okay, so this has been in tax title since 2002. It is owned by a Mr. Compton, and the balance that is currently outstanding as of today is $8,382. And let me look at the property record to see what is on there. So 4-33. Sorry, bear with me for 1 second. Parcel update 4-33. Okay. So it's 0.735 acres and the billing history shows no liens, no betterments, and the value, original values. $2,000. It is land only. There is no structure on the property and the land is currently valued at $11,000. So that tells me that it is an undevelopable piece of land.
the only reason town would not accept this deed and move foreclosure. Is there anybody that's saying we should not do it?
I mean, if it was contaminated, but I don't think there's any record of that, correct, Mary?
There is not, no.
All right. Motion to recommend Article 12,
so moved.
second.
Okay.
All in favor, aye. Opposed, recommended. 6-0. That's Article 12.
Okay. On the other articles, 13, 14, 15, and 16, those are our transfers that we typically do for our reserve funds. And this evening, I do not have amounts for you for those articles. I will tell you that we are going to, I am probably not going to recommend Article 13. We're probably going to pass over that. But I would anticipate that we would do a transfer into 14 and definitely 15. And so I should have those amounts for you for your next meeting so that we can take those up. Are
there any unpaid bills?
There are. So I was notified, I just saw an email today that we have 2 unpaid bills from the Department of Public Works that we will be bringing forward. So I will email out the details of that to you since I just received it.
Small dollar amounts?
Small dollar amounts. One of them is $2,200 and the other is, I believe, what was it, $400?
Yeah, I think so.
That's right.
That's the one that needs a 7/8 vote, right?
It needs a 9/10 vote, yeah.
And
They
so-
failed that one year.
Yeah, because it was the last, the people who walked out, and you had this knot of people. Maybe we better move it up. No, really,
I know,
What
I know.
are we talking about? 9/10 votes for what?
for the unpaid bills.
Unpaid bills.
It's always in the last end of the warrant.
And I was just saying that we had the one year where a very small amount was,
Well, people have left, and you had this knot of people.
yeah,
The rule should be 9/10 of the people who were there at the time you're taking the vote.
Yeah,
People who leave doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
It's a new count.
And we
It-
do.
Would they do that?
Won't we now?
That is how the vote is taken. It is 9/10 of the vote itself that is registered.
There's no issue then, right?
No.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. It was
Yeah,
an
there'll be
issue
no
that
people
time
in.
because the people who voted against everything stayed and the normal people went. And that's what that vote tells us.
they just did it to,
I watch the votes in these meetings, and there's a certain number of people who vote against everything. Motherhood, apple pie, you name it. You know, so we've got to watch for that. It's the way things are.
I don't remember that. So.
yeah, it was a very.
Oh, John, the rest of us remember it very well.
I think I had $80 bill that was in there and it failed.
Get approved.
It did not get approved.
So what did the vendor do? Must have been upset.
Well, the vendor was already upset for mine because I was behind. But then,
Yeah, and unfortunately, these things happen. We don't live in a perfect world, and sometimes either we receive invoices late or that, they are misplaced. They're just, things happen. There are reasons. Obviously, we do our very best to avoid that. But it's
The vendor
unfortunate.
The vendor should simply find an error in the invoice, and reissue it for $10 less. That's no longer last year's invoice. It's dated July.
don't say that in front of the CFOs.
That's the way
I-
you do.
No comment.
You didn't hear that.
I'm sorry,
We're on the Finance committee.
What's the connection's bad?
We're going through a tunnel, so you can't hear it. Okay, so that's it for the articles.
Yeah. So Tina, would you mind for next week's agenda to include, again, reviewing the remaining articles, so we make sure that we take those up?
Of course.
And I will work on sending, what I will try to do is send out schedules to you guys, to the committee ahead of time, so that you have an opportunity to review them. Okay,
For next week, you have police, fire, the warrant articles.
We have police, fire, and Jesse, I think, had to come in because of the trench box.
Yes.
And
I'll talk.
Tim,
Tim had to come in because he needed to bring in the details of the sign, the dimensions and everything of the marquee sign that we want out there, that you love.
Police, fire, Tim, Jesse, and warrant articles. I also had a call from Jesse before I came here about a capital meeting if one's gonna be needed. He said that there were a couple questions out there. I could check
That was
with
with a
Lola.
trench box, I think. Did he have to go before? Did
It
he
was-
say it was before capital for that too?
That was only 25,000.
50,000.
Yeah. I don't remember anything from,
We had some questions about a couple of the trucks. But finance committee's already voted to buy the trucks, so it's a moot point now.
it is. I had, Beth, my notes included just Jesse on the trench box and Tim on the sign.
yeah, that's what I had too.
Okay, so if they have that information, that would be great. And if, I presume Jesse could join us via Zoom, so he doesn't have to stick around.
Yes, I'll coordinate with him.
That would be great.
Okay, perfect. I will let them know capital's not needed for Jesse.
I thought, Mary, I thought the capital approved it, well, the pitch box was
It was
under
20.
50, so we didn't approve it, we just forwarded it to the finance committee.
Correct. But the finance committee had a question on it, Joe, so Jesse does need to come in front of finance because it's under 25.
Remember what the question was?
I think it was the size,
Sure, we're talking.
it was a smaller size, and I think you were asking questions on the makeup of the actual trench box. Is what I think it was, and I think he also had one quote, and we were looking for a couple more to see the difference between
What's the item?
trench box, you know, the thing they put in the, when they dig,
Oh,
that, those. And remember, we were talking about, he didn't have all of the specs, so that's why he's going.
Oh, my note, here it is. My note here says hold until Jesse gets 3 quotes.
Yep,
Oh,
because he had the one,
yeah, we all thought the church box was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We just wanted to get the quote.
yeah. And it's a smaller size so that we don't have to dig up people's yards.
Yep.
For that, so. It keeps them safe.
the comment that you made about the capital improvements committee, I'm pretty sure the way it works is even if you vote for something and you didn't vote for it yet, capital improvement committee is still supposed to vote.
Well, we vote to recommend. We vote to recommend. There was a couple of issues that we said, well, we want to revisit this, but you've already voted, so. It's a.
But don't you need to recommend it, so it shows in the,
I don't think so. I think the
No.
capital improvement
This-
committee can have a different vote than the finance.
yes,
committee.
yeah, I know that, but I didn't know if it was.
But the
Well,
item,
no vote on it. Go ahead, Mary.
the item that we're talking about is the trench box. That item is, it falls under capital under 50, so it is not an item that the capital committee would take
I
up.
thought you had something else.
There
No,
there
we-
was some truck.
We were talking about a couple of trucks, Mary.
And so Joe, with the trucks, I'll flip right here. There was BW 12, yes, the Capital Improvements Committee on BW 12. I have a note here that says hold for more info from Jesse. That was the second truck he presented. No, I'm sorry, the first truck, the $213,000 for a water brake plow truck. So yes, the Capital Improvements Committee did put that on hold.
My point is, the finance committee and the capital improvement committee don't have to vote the same way.
Correct, yes.
Correct.
I'm thinking more of the having them not recommend or take no action. And then you vote for it. I didn't know if you wanted that, because I know they can be different.
Yeah, it can be different.
Correct.
They
So
are sometimes.
So Tina, we should organize one more capital meeting.
Yep, I will reach out to Roland tomorrow.
Okay. And ideally, so what I would suggest on that though, Tina, is there is going to be a road committee meeting on Friday.
Yes. Yep.
So I would suggest that we take, that we schedule a capital meeting for after the roads committee meeting in case anything comes up from roads committee that needs to be brought forward for town meeting.
I'll reach out to Roland tomorrow, I'll email everyone and see if whatever date time we come up. Actually, Mary, maybe you can just shoot me some dates that you have that work for you for the following week, and then we'll go from there.
Okay,
But I keep rolling.
okay.
I don't think we're gonna have a quorum for road committee, for capital committee after the road committee meeting. Because Jack and Jennifer are on it. Myself and Roland, one of the selectmen, and I don't think Hennessy is around during the day.
So what were you trying to do both at once, Joe? Is that what you're saying?
Like you said, we could hold the capital committee after we held the road committee meeting.
Oh, I
Uh,
see.
We're not gonna have a quorum, so we can't hold the meeting. For
Well,
the-
that's good because if you had quorum, you'd need to post.
Yeah, but I gotta post. And I don't think Jennifer can come during the day, Jack's not available, so.
So no offense, but that's a good thing. Otherwise you'd have to post per open meeting law.
Well, we can post it, we still have time, but. Right, 48 hours?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
what is today, Tuesday?
Yep, you can post tomorrow for Friday meeting, yeah.
But I don't think we need to.
Just be sure. That's all. Just some guidance.
So if we do just the road committee, and we'll schedule the capital another day.
Okay, sounds great.
This thing I have. You have one?
Okay,
Yep, I just have one invoice.
Anything else?
That is
For
it.
me,
Thank you. Recommended invoice for the month of October, $318.32.
So,
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved.
thank you, Tina.
Yep. So next week's meeting is gonna be at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. We'll be meeting downstairs, but I'll get the agenda going, this Thursday after I confirm with everybody.
And I won't be here.
You will not be. If
say the 24th, Tina,
that is the
So the next meeting is next Wednesday at what time?
6.
6 p.m.
the 24th is Tuesday, so it's Wednesday, the 25th.
okay,
Police, fire, Tim, Jesse. And Warren on the vote. I'm sorry, for Wednesday, do we have, we'll have forum, right? We have Jackie can't make it, Brian, Kevin. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so next Wednesday, 6 p.m.
Right.
Any other business? Motion to adjourn, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the meeting is adjourned at 7:31. Thank you.